Welcome everyone to the Bran'sTech podcast. We're so glad to have you here today. This podcast episode is in both audio and video form. The audio form is found anywhere you can find podcasts, but to check out the video, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Tansen Talks. This episode will begin in just one moment after these messages, so please stay tuned. Have you ever thought about hosting your own podcast? Perhaps you already have one. Well, if you're looking for a podcast website, look no further than Podpage. A website design tool helped to create a better experience for your listeners. And in fact, my favorite part is that it allows for each guest to have their own dedicated landing page. That way, you can highlight each of your guests and their amazing accomplishments. I'm proud to have Podpage as the sponsor for the Bran'sTech Catch-Up series. If you're interested in going to Podpage, go ahead and go to podcast.bkhtech.net/podpage. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hello everyone, this is Brandon K. Hedgepeth, lifelong learner, communicator, and your friend, and I'm here again with another catch-up interview for you all here on the Bran'sTech podcast station. Before I go ahead and get started, I did want to say thank you all so much for tuning into these catch-up interviews. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to hear back from so many of my amazing podcast guests I've had on the platform in the past, and I just really can't wait to get into this one. So without further ado, let me reintroduce today's guest. They are interested in culinary arts, gaming, collaborative work, and even now technology news and information. And without further ado, please welcome my guest today, Jackal. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hello, everyone. Of course. Glad to be back.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. And so, first of all, how have you been?
I've been good. I've just been, busy. A lot of stuff going on right now with my content and with my family, but, making it work.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you've been able to make it work and that we're here today speaking. It's been a long time coming, months in the making.
Yes, months in the making. Been trying really hard, but each time something comes up for some reason.
Yeah, so luckily, hopefully today we will beat out the technical difficulties and scheduling conflicts and finally be able to converse here today. So I'm just really glad to get into this. So I did want to first go ahead and allow an opportunity for you to go ahead and reintroduce yourself to the listening or viewing audience.
Oh, well, you practically got it. Hey guys, my name is Jackal, and that's who I go by online. I'm doing good. I do content creation on Twitch. I'm starting up a YouTube channel, even though it still hasn't come out because I'm taking forever to edit the videos. I just want them to be decent and fun, something that I enjoy making. I have a bunch of IRL stuff. I have an Instagram where I started doing pictures and a bunch of other stuff and enjoying that. I'm a culinary arts student, and I do love tech. So yeah, that's me.
Well, that is awesome, and I just really can't wait to get into this. I mean, like I said, this has been a long time coming, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you are, as of right now, the only guest I've had on chronologically that has been on through all 3 years I've had guests on the podcast, 2020, 2021, and now 2022.
Oh, every year? That's cool. Yes, sir. Whoop, whoop. Recurring guest.
Yep, December 2020, March of 2021, and now here in fall of 2022. And I've had you on now as a recurring guest on the podcast this year. And how has that been for you so far?
It's been really hectic trying to get the times together because we have really conflicting schedules when it comes to being busy. But it's been good. It's been fun trying to get everything working together. I'm honestly doing some work at the same time while trying to talk to you because you know how schedules be. I don't have to work today at night, so I'm trying to get a bunch of, schoolwork and whatnot.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I guess since you're speaking about schoolwork, so how has that been going for you? Are you able to give us a little bit update? Because I think the last time I think you mentioned your schoolwork was actually back in December 2020. So hopefully you've been able to make some progression since then.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm in my second to third year. I've honestly been losing track of time because it's like 6 to 8 years I have to be in school, so it's like a lot. Like the culinary has been a lot of fun. I've been learning a bunch of stuff. I've been doing gastro. Oh my gosh, I keep slipping my mind. Uh, Gastronomy, which is like I think that's what it's called. It's like making cool stuff with food, like scientific cool stuff, and it kind of mixes into my computer engineering. It's just like, oh, this is fun. I enjoy doing this. But apart from that, it's just basic college classes like I don't know, English, math, stuff like that. So it's like at points it's boring, but at other points it's cool. But you know, gotta deal with it.
Well, that is great to hear that you've been going through it and enjoying it. Because I believe that because I was going back through our previous episodes before we spoke, and so spoke here today, and so I know like directly prior to us speaking the first time on the podcast that you had just finished at that time culinary, well, the first part of culinary school full time, and really entering a new stage for you in December
Yeah,
2020.
yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, we're in 2022 right now, right?
I believe so. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy how I mean how quickly time flies, and as soon as you know it, we're going to be in 2023.
Oh yeah, just a couple more months. What? Like 4 more months? Jesus. Oh my God. Time really goes fast.
Absolutely, especially since this will. I mean, by the time this releases, this will be like for sure like the true end of the year, and so I mean,
Yeah.
for those listening, I mean, you're practically already there if you're not already listening.
True, true. But how does it feel to be in the future? It's crazy. You know stuff that we don't. I love that we're kind of matching with the colors over here. I just have
Yeah,
a hoodie on.
for yeah, that's actually pretty cool that you're that we're sort of rocking the same color scheme. For those of you watching on video, for as of right now, recording this Spotify, or if I open this up to YouTube or whatever else I do towards the future, who really knows? I mean, I have so many plans that are laid out towards the future that change before any stuff even releases. But as a content creator, I'm sure you 100% understand how quickly plans can change.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Things go left and right. So many. It's like so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, speaking back to our the first time that we spoke on here in December 2020, is that for to give a little bit of insight for those who, yeah, I guess who are wondering how we first, started doing, having you on the podcast in the first place was actually because you briefly had a show the year prior in 2019, Comic Kingdom.
Ah, you bring that up once again. Yeah, for a high school project, my senior year, we did a directing thing where one of my friends was doing I forgot what the program was called, but it was doing like camera work, directing, whatnot for a show, and he invited me on, and then we had our little thing. We had like an episode or two, and then we moved on. But yeah, that was a really long time ago.
Well, yeah. Well, at least, I mean, by you being able to do that, it was at least able to, I mean, almost help push you a little bit in the current content creator direction that you are, and seeing what you do and don't want to do going forward. And yeah, I mean, and here we are now. At that time, going from then 4 years later, 3 or 4 years later. I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, how much time has really elapsed since then?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's a lot happens in a couple years, and you really realize how much time until you go back and you look at your work in the prior, and you're like, oh my gosh, so much time has passed by.
Yeah, and so it's crazy to think how, I mean, like you said, how much time flies. And so I know between our first and second recordings, that was when you actually started up your Twitch page. And so how was that progression?
Um, it's been okay. So it's been a journey. I think a lot of time has passed since I started it. I'm not where I want to be, but at the same time, I've taken a lot of breaks just because I've had multiple issues pop up. Like for the longest time, my internet just wasn't working, and this past break that I took is because I've been pulling up my new setup and I've been in the process of moving, kind of. So I haven't really wanted to stream. And I've also been trying to get this editing done for this YouTube video so I can actually start promoting stuff. But yeah, I've been trying it, um, but it's good. It's going good. I'm enjoying where I am right now, and it's like the subtle growth that I really enjoy.
Well, I'm really glad that that it's been working out for you, especially with such a hectic schedule that you have, that you're still able to, to manage doing your streaming, your jobs, your family, your culinary, and and in fact, you're even able to have time to, crack open a good book every once in a while.
Yeah, it's really all about scheduling. You really have to figure out time for yourself and figure out, okay, well, I have this a lot of time. I have school this hour and I have this free hour. Let me just give myself 20, 30 minutes. Because that's all you need, honestly. Let me get 20, 30 minutes to sit in the bath, read a book, like just small stuff for yourself. And it's great. It really is. It really helps with your mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the fact that you're able to do that, manage it, I mean, yeah, and especially at our age, it's just truly remarkable how much stuff you're really able to do when you put your mind to it, and you just work hard, schedule hard.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and so I know, with your streaming stuff too, that you have been definitely growing over this past year and a half. And so you went from just, you doing streams for fun to now doing it a little bit more on the professional side as well. In fact, you even have a team.
Yes, yes. I have a small team of people who really enjoyed my content and did things, and they wanted to help. So we all got together. We figured out some stuff. I have a social media manager who still hasn't done anything yet because that's on my bad because I haven't done anything for the YouTube side of things. And then I have some people on the side helping me out with my Twitch and my content and what I want to do, and they've given me some pointers. Honestly, my final editor is like the guy that like really goes through everything. All my content tells me what I'm doing bad and what I'm doing good. He looked at my YouTube video and has revised it twice now. So I've had to redo it twice because of him. So, bittersweet, but it is what it is.
Well, that shows that they're doing their job really well.
Yeah, you're supposed so.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you were able to, like I said, not just start on your goals, but to expand upon it, especially taking you to where you are now. And so it's really great that you've been able to grow and expand. And so, what are some of the other things that you've been up to over, not just since the time we last spoke for an interview in March 2021, but just in general over these 2 years? Because I know we don't really get to cover everything while doing these podcast interviews. So I definitely did want to allow some time for you to go ahead and take control.
So, I've been doing a lot of like personal stuff, just getting my family together, raising my daughter, been trying to move out. I've been doing a lot of like self stuff, trying to figure out like my mental health, make sure I'm okay, figure out my friends and where I want to be in life. So a lot of planning, a lot of just taking my time and taking this a little slow. But yeah, and just, focusing on work and school, just trying to balance life. It's kind of hard for someone who has so much going on at one time and at the same time have to raise another human being. So, it comes with its ups and downs, but it's great. I really enjoy where I'm going with it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That you are taking it in stride, and I believe we discussed this a little bit earlier, a couple hours ago, but but the fact that like so much of your work, I mean, truly started around the same sort of time. I mean, like our first interview, your daughter being born, getting started on your current college journeys, I mean, all truly happened around the same time period.
On top of Twitch and me trying to figure out. Yeah, it really did. I really did. Like about 2 years ago now is when I started figuring things out for myself, and yeah, it was great. It's a great journey, and I've really grown a lot. I also chopped off my hair, so it's gone. It was unhealthy, so new chapter.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, definitely. For those of you watching on video too, I really like your new haircut, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. It's kind of short, but it'll get there. Oh, someone has come to say hi. Hello, hello, kitty. Say the camera. Ah, it's my cat. He's huge. He's a big boy.
Well, hello to your cat. And for those of you who are just listening, Jackal's cat went and said hello to us, on the video version. If you aren't watching the video version, I definitely recommend you checking this out for this and all of my current episodes, by the way.
Exclusive content, kitty content, boys. Okay, get down. He has his claws in me.
Well, it's always fun whenever you get a nice visitor. Not so much when you get caught, though.
No. He didn't want to get down, so he put his claws in me. It's okay. He didn't draw blood this time. So, I was just wanted to ask how you're feeling because of your content and how you're going in life. Like, what's one thing that you have taken that you very just like, it's happened and you just go with it, or another thing that's just a really kicking your ass, for a better term or phrase.
Okay, so it serves the song that's going well is I've absolutely loved doing these podcast interviews over these past 2 years. I know that's obviously the most obvious answer, but I would say it's just truly enlightened me in a way that I would have never realized before. I mean, when I started them, I mean, it was just like, I love tech, you tech, everyone, we're just going to talk about tech. That was the true gist of it. But, I had done, at the time, I was doing one interview a month. And that lasted for January and February 2020. And then I did one in August that released in November because during the pandemic, not everyone, everyone of course was focusing on family, and so one of my intentions is I never want to take people away from their family, and I don't want like that. That was the top priority at the time, as it should be, and so I wanted to make sure to give that time back. But something in August 2020 just really struck me and was just like, this is something I need to do. Like, I need to, like, doing these interviews, doing podcasting in general was a part of my main 2020 goal, and I need to make things happen. I can't just be like, oh, yeah, well, the pandemic came by and, oh, well, to the idea. It's not like anything like that. Like, I have to do something. And so for me saying, you know what, I'm going to do my best to still get my 12 interviews done. And I mean, and making it happen was just remarkable. But what came out of it, doing all of these interviews and being able to meet so many different people and hear so many different perspectives, has just really changed. I think it hasn't changed who I am, but rather has impacted the person I am. Because it just made me appreciate the conversations even more than I did before. I've always been a communication person. I've always been a lifelong learner, but it's just really enhanced that and has really made me like so thankful for every day I get to go into. And I mean, it's been so heartwarming to go through this and to hear other people's stories. It just truly is remarkable. But well, actually, let me start off with there before I get into the second part. But yeah, but that's my answer to your first part of the question.
Right. So what's the second part?
Yeah.
You
So
gotta
the
just keep
second,
going.
yeah, okay. So the second part, something. So 2021, my scheduling was absolutely horrible in the terms of I am an online college student. If you don't know, there's nothing wrong with that, but in order to do that, you definitely have to have a lot of discipline, which I certainly do. But a key factor of helping out with that is to be in charge of your own scheduling. And so for me, I was doing releasing a podcast interview every week, and it really got the best of me, honestly. And as enlightened as I was by each of the podcast interviews and how much they've helped me through my life, at the same time, though, not having a set schedule really took a toll on me personally, in the sense of, like, it wasn't like today's Monday, I'm doing this, today's just Tuesday, I'm doing this. It's more so interview tomorrow morning, interview tomorrow night, and manage to get homework done by 2 days from now. Like, the idea of dates and times were more so like relative. Like, they weren't concrete. Like, I truly had no idea. If you said I need to do something on Wednesday, I don't understand what Wednesday was. And in terms of my birthday, I don't even. I've always had a really good memory, but I don't remember most of 2021. And that bothers me because I'm someone who keeps track of everything, and I didn't protect my well-being in 2021. And that's something I've been working to improve all year thus far in 2022. And I should say it's made a significant change. And so the interviews were never the problem. It's more so my time management and not taking breaks for myself. And so many people have told me, you need to take a break, you're going to burn yourself out. And I always answered that no, I'm perfectly fine, which I truly believed until it was like the end of the year, stuck in because of the COVID-19 pandemic, sort of stuck in isolation. I didn't have COVID, but I was exposed to it, and just thinking, it's just like there's so much I could have done with this year, and I did do so much with this year, but
At the same time, you sacrificed your own well-being, and
exactly, yeah,
I definitely have the same, not the same exact issue, but a similar issue where I just wasn't taking myself into consideration with a lot of things, and it just ended up coming back to bite me in the leg, if I were to say, because I was just spent and I just wouldn't have the energy, and I don't want to do that to people. I definitely want to make sure everyone's getting my full attention when it comes to important things like my daughter and whatnot. But yeah, I think schedule definitely helps with that. Once you have a good schedule going, you'll really find yourself.
yeah, for sure. And so, like, one of the things I have done this year is I tried my best to keep a daily planner of some sort, whether physically, electronically, whatever, and to do things to help me remember the day. Like, I have this Jeopardy calendar over here that I attempt to go through every day and scratch off which day we're on. I'll admit that I haven't been fully consistent with it, but I've been growing to do it better. And that's, yeah, and trying your best is really all you can do. And I mean, I know sometimes you're like, I'm just like an inch away from accomplishing this goal, but you don't have to burn yourself out in accomplishment and trying to accomplish said goal.
Uh, the issue is that time really becomes a problem for me specifically. Like I really lose track of time when it comes to everything. Like I'll just like I don't know what day it is today. Like I'll the only time I'll notice is when I have to go to work at night. So I'm just like, okay, well, what day is it today? And I have to work. And then after that, nah, just kind of blending together the days and months and weeks and whatnot. Like the months definitely, like long extended period of time, really hard for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, but that's really one of the things I have worked on. And I know that, of course, that, I mean, we're all going to continuously work on ourselves. And so, I mean, I mean, that's one thing about it is that we may not get it right today, but we're always working to improve ourselves. And that's the important thing. We're not going to always, like, we're not perfect. We're not perfect people. And that's one of the reasons, too, like, even when editing sometimes, I will leave certain mistakes I make in to sort of show that I'm not perfect. A lot of people are like, wow, you do all of the stuff. You've had so many guests on the podcast or this or that. And it's like, yes, I've done all of that, but I make mistakes just like you do. And I think it's important for me to be able to show that.
We're all human. We all make mistakes. It's bound to happen. And people who don't see that part of it, who just think, oh, everything just comes easy, just aren't in the same situation. They just don't understand it because they're just not in the field, which is fine. It's understandable. So you kind of have to, as yourself, hold yourself accountable for stuff and not hold yourself at too much of a high standard, not overburn yourself on stuff that you know is never going to be perfect. You can get the best of your ability, definitely. You can get the best quality of stuff that you want, but at the end of the day, it's never going to be perfect per se, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's
For
always going to
sure.
be something you can improve upon. It's something you can learn. And I think that's the best thing to always have a mentality of I can learn from this instead of I didn't do that well on this.
Yeah. And then also to definitely take advice from others too. And, and don't like seclude yourself, but to be open to, to all of these ideas because I mean, sometimes people just have really great ideas and yeah, it's just the one thing that can really that can really impact you that just stands out.
Definitely. And if at the end of the day, something I realized that like if people like your content, they're gonna stay for your content. You can make it as best. It could genuinely be perfect, and it's not gonna cater to everybody. Everyone has their things that they enjoy and don't enjoy. And if your content happens to be one of those things, it just kind of happens.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, going into the part about, I mean, really being open to ideas is a lot of times when people on the podcast, a lot of times people will come to me and say, I've had an idea for you. And a lot of times, like I listen to it and I'm like, that's a great idea. And I mean, I try to always do my best to take everything into consideration. And so, one of the ideas you had actually, I'm not sure if you remember, but during our 2021 interview, was that well a little bit afterwards is that you suggested me to do another group interview for the podcast, and so that's ended up coming to fruition to the winner interview panel I did on the podcast to end out 2021. And I mean, like I said, that was an idea you came up with.
Yeah, I mean it happens. You really just forget. You really just kind of build on your own, make sure take whatever you have and then make it the best you can. Like maybe it was my idea, but at the same time you made it come to fruition, you know?
That is quite true. And yes, and I'm not sure if you remember, but you were actually supposed to be a part of it too, but our timing got completely
I do
messed up
remember that,
twice.
yeah. So you guys just had to end up doing it without me, which is it's regrettable, but at the same time, I'm just glad it happened. I'm glad it worked out for y'all.
But at least you were able to join both me and Bryce Martin for two/free podcasts, throughout this year as both of you are now recurring guests on the podcast.
Yes, yes. It was a great time. Enjoyed talking to him. He's a very intelligent person, and I feel like we worked really well as a group.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Jackal, while you were here, is there anything else that you would like to say or share with us? Yeah, about anything or everything, because like I said, I'm just so glad to speak with you and that you're willing to take the time out of your extremely busy schedule to do this. I mean, like we're well past midnight here and we're still chatting. So
I
I'm
mean,
just
hey, it happens, and you know what they say, like I don't know, talking to people you connect with and talking to friends is much different than having something that you're kind of forced to do. One thing I want to say is that you guys really gotta appreciate the work Brandon puts in for this for his content. It's a lot of work. He's really patient when it comes to his guests. And I really admire him for the amount of effort he puts into everything, and he makes sure everything is, works well. And he edits his own stuff too. So if you guys like, there's a bunch of stuff that gets cut out or stuff that just doesn't make it in, but that's all him. He makes sure that it's the most entertaining, and I really want you guys to take a second to realize how much effort your favorite content creator does for y'all, because he does enjoy what he's doing. At the same time, I also do a lot of work, and although as of right now there's not much to show for it, I have been putting hours into editing video, and when it comes out, I really hope you guys enjoy it on my Twitch/YouTube channel, because I'm gonna promote it everywhere. And of course, Brandon's gonna see it. He's probably gonna be one of the people first to see it anyway. He's very, very on time with things. No, that's not the word. Very supportive. There we go. He's very supportive with everything.
Oh, thank you so much. And like I said, I always want to do my best to support all of the creative endeavors that each of my guests do. I mean, and not just on the platform, but I mean, personally too. I mean, you all are all my friends. Whether we were strangers or already friends or relatives, whatever. I mean, one of the things I've always wanted to do is, to make an environment where everyone's welcome to tell their story and to be a part of it. And so I'm just glad I'm able to do this here.
Of course, we all appreciate your effort and work that you put into us, and thank you guys for having us on. Like, oh my gosh, the amount of effort you put us to get us in here. Like we said, it's been months trying to get me in here for this catch-up interview, but I'm really happy we finally made it.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we were able to do so as well. And so, Jackal, I did want to go ahead and allow a moment for you to go ahead and share all of the platforms that we can follow you on, and so that way everyone here can go ahead and go support. And I know, of course, that I'll add them to the podcast website too, in case your YouTube channel happens to go live before this releases out.
Oh, I'm really hoping so. I'm really hoping it will be. But like always, you guys can find me at twitch.com/RCKJustJackal. You guys can now also find me on Instagram. I'm more active up there because I'm starting to do more picture stuff, more stuff I'm enjoying at Tsukuyomi Jack. I know it's a bit hard to pronounce, but it's down there. There's also, on top of that, I'm gonna have a TikTok, a Twitter, and a YouTube, but all those have not been released yet, so stay tuned, and hopefully they'll be out by the time this comes out.
Well, awesome. Well, that sounds good to me. And so, last but not least, of course, I did want to allow for you to close out, just like I've done for all of my 2022 interviews, to leave us with whether it be a word of wisdom, a life lesson, favorite quote, or whatever it may be. The floor is all yours, Jackal. Take us away.
All right, guys. Really appreciate you guys spending the time with us. And if you made it down here, I have some words of wisdom that you guys hear all the time. Be patient with life. It can be really easy to get caught up in the mess of things and be always going forward, always running towards the finish line. But honestly, there is no finish line. No one's in a rush. No one's trying to force you to do things. Just take your own pace. Do things you enjoy, because you're never going to get that time back. Time is our best enemy and our worst friend in the best way possible. But yeah, just take your time, do things you enjoy. The worst you could do is fail, and even then, even if you feel like you failed at something, just get back into it. Just keep trying. Eventually something will stick. It's just how life works. We're human. We make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. The queen has passed away, sadly. So no one's immortal either. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for spending the time with me and Brandon here.
Yeah, well, I've absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. And for those of you, well, first of all, Jack, well, thank you so much as always. And for those of you watching or listening, thank you all so much for tuning in. I always appreciate it. Until next time, have a wonderful day, everyone, and let's make things happen. I'll see y'all next time. Take care. Thank you so much to Podpage for sponsoring the Bran'sTech Catch-Up series. Use the referral link included in this podcast to learn more. A big thank you, of course, goes out to all of you listeners out there and to our amazing guests who come on out and be on the platform. Bran'sTech has been created and produced by Brandon K. Hedgepeth of Tansen, LLC.